This morning, a Chicagoan you need to know. Imagine living here for your entire life and never visiting the Willis Tower, never seeing Wrigley Field, or the gorgeous lakefront, aside from seeing it in magazines. The reality is that a number of Chicago's youth don't ever get that opportunity to leave their own neighborhood, but our next guest is changing that. Please welcome the founder of My Block, My Hood, My City, Jamal Cole. We got our gear on right here representing. So for people who have never heard of this, explain exactly what this program does.
Okay, My Block, My Hood, My City is a social initiative that's geared towards taking teenagers from under-resourced Chicago communities and giving them access to opportunities outside their block or their hood. I mean, you'd be surprised how many teenagers I talk to that never been downtown or seen the lake. So this program is providing them opportunities to travel.
Right, and the idea is to brighten their future. If they see, outside their hood and they get to see the other things in the city, it'll create aspiration.
Exactly. I mean, the prosperity of Chicago is not going to be determined by a few select wealthy communities. The prosperity of our city should be determined by economic activity and access to opportunities in all 77 communities.
Right. How did you think this up?
Well, I was volunteering at Cook County Jail, and I asked a group of teenagers, have you been downtown? And they said no. And I was like, where are you from? It was like, my block is 21st Street. My hood is the low end. And I said, I can still see the Sears Tower from both of those. I still call it the Sears Tower.
Sure.
I said, I can still see the Sears.
That's Chicago.
So I said, I can still see the Sears Tower from both of those places, and you've never been downtown. To me, it was tragic. They didn't feel part of something larger outside the radius of a few blocks. So I knew immediately I wanted to do something to give teenagers like that access to opportunities.
Right, and you do this on top of your full-time job.
Yes, my full-time job is I advocate for education reform in Chicago. So I'm always talking with politicians about the best performing charter schools, the most effective schools in Chicago. I think right now there's a resolution for a moratorium on charter schools. I'm definitely against that. I think charter schools are more innovative, and they allow me to have access to teenagers to run my programs. So.
Right, now what was your background like? What was your childhood like?
I was born on the Greyhound bus. No, I'm just joking. Not literally, but I traveled so much between Chicago and Texas growing up. My father lived in Texas, my mother lived in North Chicago, Waukegan area, so I was always back and forth, and those experiences really transformed me and allowed me to dream bigger than my own surroundings, and I know the power of travel, so I want to give back that to teenagers.
Yeah, well, your program is amazing. We're going to let people know how to get the apparel that's going to help you raise money, My Block, My Hood, My City, and also we're going to talk to some of the people that you've put through your program. You call them explorers,
exactly.
And Val is going to be with them next. We'll be right back, everybody. With Jamal Cole, the founder of My Block, My Hood, My City. We're going to get to meet one of your explorers in just a minute. Okay. You also have medical students that are involved in this program.
Yeah.
How do they fit?
Well, to truly make our city a better and more interconnected place, we need more people, young and old, to visit community areas outside their own. When most people hear about something negative happening in another Chicago community, especially where people are a lot different from them, it might as well happen in another country. So visiting different communities and interacting with the residents can change that. So University of Chicago Medical School students, their patient population comes from the South Side, and they wanted to develop better relationships, so they reached out to me to provide them with that opportunity.
Right, and Val is with some of our guests right now. She's with 16-year-old Emmanuel Terrell, and also University of Chicago medical students Graham Block and Sean McGuire. Val?
That's right. Thank you, Ryan. So, Emmanuel, Graham and Sean, I'm going to get to you in a second, but Emmanuel, you went through this program, and you go to Mount Carmel. Woo woo, Mount Carmel, right? You're a wrestler there. I know about Mount Carmel. And you live in Humboldt Park, but tell me what this experience has done for you.
Jamal has brought me out of my neighborhood and brought me to see more of Chicago, get like a new perspective. I mean, I've lived in Chicago my whole life,
yeah.
And my dad used to work downtown, so I've been downtown, but the recent explorations have brought a new perspective to see the little details and the little beauties of the city. So,
yeah. What'd you take away from that?
Just the new perspective, to look at the city in a different way, and then to look at my neighborhood in a different way. And
right. What do you want to do when you grow up?
I write, so I want to be a writer. I'm preparing a portfolio for the Art Institute. So,
all right now. That's right. You go. Okay, and Graham and Sean, you guys both medical students at the University of Chicago, and you actually took a tour to see where some of your patients come from. You went to their hood. When you went to their hood, what were your initial thoughts? And Graham, we can start with you.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, when they think about the south side of Chicago, have some negative stereotypes. I think a lot of that is from not actually interacting with people. So Jamal was nice enough to take us to Chatham, where he grew up. We went to a community group meeting, met a lot of community members. We went to the library, we met with Mr. Mitchell Smith, who runs the Whitney Young Library, and talked with him about the programs he does there.
Awesome.
And then we ate at a local restaurant with a local historian. So I think it taught us all a lot about the Chatham community.
Right, and do you think, Sean, this experience will help you when you're going through school and when you become a doctor, even in how you interact with your patients?
Absolutely. I think that an important part of our medical education is not just everything that we do with books, but is about a different kind of education. And that's the kind of education where you're just learning how to interact with people that are coming from backgrounds that are different than your own. And so I think that this really allowed us to do that. And so that was really great.
Right. Was there someone that you met on a block or a hood that really stood out to you, that maybe you formed a relationship and took it from there?
Yeah, so actually at the Whitney Young Library, we went with Mr. Mitchell Smith, who runs the library, and we're actually able to set up a community service venture with him.
Oh, cool.
Actually, one Saturday morning, a few medical students and I went in and set up a program we called Doctor for a Day. So we brought in actually a bunch of organs from a local slaughterhouse and dissected them.
You did that?
We did that.
In Chatham, in that neighborhood?
In Chatham. So a lot of the kids maybe had learned about biology in school, but not really interacted with it. And we wanted to make it exciting and fun, kind of spark some interest in health and science, maybe even some future careers.
Yes.
So we had them looking at kidneys, looking at brains, looking at livers, and holding it in their hands.
That's awesome.
It was a really cool experience. And having them actually listen to stethoscopes, hear their heartbeats. So hopefully sparked an interest.
Well, it sounds like it was cool for them, but it sounds like it was really cool for you too. Thank you guys. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. All the best to you too, Emmanuel. Ryan, back over to you.
Yeah, only a medical student would think it's cool to hold a liver. Yeah. All right. Hey, the program is called My Block, My Hood, My City. If you want to help out Jamal, buy some of his gear, because they really survive off the donations and the gear that's sold. So go to the website mbmhmc.com. We have it on the screen right there. All right, we got to take a break. Thanks so much, Jamal.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Coming up next, we're taking sweets to a whole new mouth-watering level. Penthouse Suites of Allsip is here. We'll be right back.